Painter and graphic designer Robert Rauschenberg has been described as a pioneer for obscuring the distinction between art and everyday objects, and his work is currently featured at the Museum of Contemporary Art Jacksonville in celebration of his 100th birthday. Here to tell us about it is Ylva Rouse. She's the senior curator at MOCA Jax. Welcome back, Ylva.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So, Rauschenberg has really been an inspiration for generations of artists, and not just because the way that his work brought together so many different kind of mediums, but because of the way that he crossed into other forms of artwork. Being influential with other artists, choreographers, musicians. Why did you want to celebrate him
Mhm.
for his birthday?
Well, he's a giant, like you intimated. It's been really exciting. We started the year celebrating Joan Mitchell, who also had her 100th anniversary. So then the second half of the year, we're dedicating it to Rauschenberg joining a worldwide celebration of his work.
Hmm.
And yeah, in response to your question, well, he often said, "I do not believe in categories. Between art and non-art, between media, between artist and the viewer." He just had an incredible, expansive understanding of art.
And his work, we're seeing some of his pieces on our live stream right now that people can check out. Some of his more famous pieces were this series he did called Combines, which sort
Combines.
of speaks to the way that he saw an overlap between these different things. Can you describe for people who aren't watching the live stream a little bit about what he's combining?
Yeah. Yeah, he Combines was his big breakthrough when he gets to New York, and it was these constructions, something between painting and sculpture. And a very famous quote of his is, uh, "Painting lies between art and life. I try to work in the gap between the two." And in these combines, he not only broke the differences between painting and sculpture, it was the beginning of installation art, beginning of performance. And he famously would put um, objects and scraps and everything you can think of, beds,
Yeah.
desiccated animals,
Right,
into them.
and his his influence crossed into, as we said, kind of other mediums. I mean, he was influential in music with John Cage. He was influential in choreography
Yeah,
with Merce
collaborations
Cunningham.
were fundamental, and it started for him in he went to Black Mountain College with his then to be wife
In
Susan
Asheville
Weil.
area?
Yes,
Yeah.
a very famous college where Joseph Albers was the painter who had fled from Europe, and it's there that he meets many of the collaborators that would follow him throughout his life, like you said, the dancer Merce Cunningham and the composer John Cage,
Mhm.
for example, or Jasper Johns, whom he's shared studio with in New York, and so on.
And Cy Twombly, and so this work that you are exhibiting, is that part of MoCA's permanent collection, or is that something that's traveling?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. So it's a small exhibit, but it gives us a way to go into these different aspects of his work. So it's our mostly prints, complemented by a loan from a local collector. I always like to include showcase collecting in our beautiful city. In this case, from Dr. Sack and his wife Barbara Sharp.
Excellent. And so part of the idea, and this exhibit, we should say it opened yesterday, but it runs through October 19th.
October 19,
And
correct.
it's essentially it's free. So can you kind of
Hmm.
explain? I mean, I guess at least during museum hours, it's available. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's on the first floor. So as you know, the same as our Project Atrium. It's available. You go there. We have a beautiful coffee shop, so you go and get a coffee and stroll around and get to see this beautiful little exhibit.
And are there? other kind of information available about the artist there, or is it just sort of
Yes,
uh-huh.
yes, always. We have what we call extended labels or QR codes that will lead you to the Rauschenberg Foundation site,
Mhm.
which
Well,
is,
talk about that a little bit. I mean, one of his influences has been this commitment to philanthropy and kind of, cultural outreach.
yeah, it's something that is not so well known, but he was inspired to create this incredible project going to China in 1982. And in 1984, he stands in front of the United Nations and declares that he's going to begin this project, Rocky. Rocky after his uh, uh, favorite turtle, Rocky, that it's spelled ROCI, the Rauschenberg Overseas
Culture exchange.
Cultural Exchange,
Yeah.
exactly. And it went on for 10 years, and that was his belief that art could bridge cross culturally and help us understand each other.
And I suppose that's something you believe as well.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So he died in 2008, but this is his 100th birthday. And what are the museum hours for people who are interested in checking it out? As we say, it is a free exhibit.
Yes, so we're open every day except Monday, 11 to 5.
Okay,
Mm.
terrific. Well, Ilva, thank you so much for coming here. Glad you're doing this celebration of Rauschenberg. It's pretty cool, and we
Thank you.
always love to see you.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Mhm.